Helmets are for safety. Welcome back to Random, and today we're going to be talking about how to stop an ICBM. For today's example, we're going to be talking about this right here, the Minuteman I. Now, before we get into that though, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and if you enjoy cold beverages and groovy tunes, check out Beer and Song of the Day. The link to their channel will be in the description down below. And also, my editor's friend, Gregorio Jamat, is a Twitch streamer. You can check him out at Scoop the Avenger on Twitch. The link to his channel will be in the description down below as well. Now, stopping an ICBM, this being the Minuteman I. What we see here from stage 1 all the way up to the payload release module, way up there at the top, that little structure built on the side of the missile, inside there is a linear charge that arms when this missile, or Minuteman II or Minuteman III, is launched. So in the event of an accidental release, the crew in the capsule, one or both, would look at each other and say, oops, and one or both of them would hit the abort switch, and the entire missile, the entire ICBM, would explode in a non-nuclear detonation, completely eliminating the threat of this missile. But let's say, for example, stages 1, 2, and 3 have already burned completely out, and the payload module is on its way to its target. There's still an abort charge in the payload module that, once the abort switch is hit, the payload module goes up in a non-nuclear explosion, and it detonates, completely removing the threat of the missile. Well, let's say it is the payload itself is on its terminal phase. It is heading towards its target for its destination. There's a certain amount of time that the crew can look at each other and say, hey, this is a mistake, we should probably abort, and they can hit the abort switch, and the payload itself will go up in a non-nuclear explosion, completely removing the threat of the entire ICBM at that point. Now, let's say the United States is on the receiving end of a missile very similar to this from an adversary capable of sending a missile like this towards us. We have a number of different ways that we can defend against an ICBM, chief among which is something that the U.S. Navy recently tested with an Aegis missile, part of the system of Aegis. What they did was they successfully engaged a target outside of the atmosphere at escape velocity, which is Mach 25, from sea level with a missile. So the United States Navy has a capability of protecting assets and facilities along our coastlines from ICBM threats. Well, let's say an ICBM is coming over the North Pole and the U.S. Navy can't engage. Well, the U.S. Army has a system called mid-range interballistic missile defense that they can use. Those missiles the U.S. Army uses travel at Mach 33. Now, for those that don't know, anything above Mach 5 is considered hypersonic, so eat it, Russia and China. So the U.S. Army has the capability of taking out payloads from missiles coming over the North Pole and completely eliminating the threat of ICBMs via that way. Now, if you remember a couple of episodes ago, we talked about the Airborne Laser Project and how it was, in theory, capable of eliminating the threat of multiple independent reentry vehicles from ICBMs while in flight. Now, again, that program is no longer active as far as the U.S. government is concerned, so we can't use an airborne laser to engage or destroy the threat that could be presented from an ICBM that we know of. So those are a couple of different ways that we can ultimately defend and end the threat of ICBMs. However, the very best way, the most effective 100% guaranteed method of defeating or preventing an ICBM from coming into United States airspace is that it never be launched in the first place. That's right. With 100% accuracy and certainty, the best way to stop an ICBM is to never launch it. We know that, our adversaries know that, and that's why we call it nuclear deterrence. Mutually assured destruction. What a terrible acronym. But yes. So we have the capability of defeating ICBMs, and it is theorized if we have the capability of doing that, any adversary that also has ICBMs would, in theory, have the capability of defeating our missiles as well. So take that as you will. If you learned anything from this, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Tell my editor what he's doing wrong. Tell me what I'm doing right, and give him crap for punishing me by saying he enjoys DEI. And definitely give him crap for skiving off to Orlando at the end of the year, leaving me to rot in the back of his truck while he goes have fun down in Disney World. The bastard. Anyway, hope you enjoyed today's episode, and as always, keep it random.